Hello, and welcome to episode 62 of the Medical Device Success podcast and videocast. I am Ted Newell, your host, and thank you very much for spending time with us today. Today's episode is called Digital Caffeine for Zoom Fatigue with Dror Benjamin, CEO and founder of VidiPlus based in Israel. Dror is going to show us a new, economical, and robust tool that enhances virtual engagement on all virtual platforms. It is really cool and will not only separate you from other virtual presenters, it will also help you better explain your products and services. It is even very effective with complicated products, as you will see due to some of its features. For videocast viewers, you will see the technology firsthand. For PC listeners, you will get a different track because while I was doing the recording with Dror, I was so fascinated by what he was showing me that I forgot to give a good explanation that a listener would appreciate to understand what he was talking about. So on the PC track, I'm actually going to be splicing in some audio to help explain what we are talking about, and you'll better appreciate it. I apologize if my editing may be a bit kludgy, but it is important that you get a feel for what we're talking about and its potential. There will be links in the show notes to Dror's LinkedIn profile and the VidiPlus website. And if you think the subject matter is valuable, share it with a friend, then subscribe. I will try to get the video up on the Medical Device Success YouTube channel as soon as possible. The raw video will be available in the MedTech Leaders community right away. Just a reminder, I do not get compensated by companies that are featured on the podcast. I am looking for leaders and subject matter experts to interview and technologies to share that will have a positive impact on medtech companies. In the future, a company may sponsor the podcast. However, that is not the basis for selecting episode matter. Well, let's visit the VidiPlus coffee shop and get a cup of digital caffeine with Dror Benjamin. Dror Benjamin, welcome to the Medical Device Success Podcast. It's really terrific to have you here today for us to learn about this really interesting virtual technology that you've developed.
Thank you very much for having me, Ted.
And why don't you tell us what your role is and just a little bit about VidiPlus?
Okay. I will start with my other company, R Creative, which is important for the story because this is where VidiPlus was born. We help medical device companies in the past 15 years in creating advanced visualizations to sell and launch their new technologies.
Right.
And then when the pandemic started, I spoke with many of my friends and clients worldwide and understood that we're facing new challenges and new problems. And this is when VidiPlus was born, and I will start to show what it does. So basically with VidiPlus, we can show any kind of visual content during our virtual presentations. It can be video meetings or anything else. And we can show any kind of visual content. It can be 3D models, videos, images. We also learned that it's a great tool for marketing and sales. People can now easily show visually any kind of message they have during their conversations.
That's amazing. And just to make sure the listeners and viewers understand, is you are also the founder of, do you call it AR Creative or Arc Creative?
It's our creative.
Our Creative, okay.
Yes.
Which and that you've had that company since I think what 2005?
True. Yes.
Okay. And so Our Creative is, would you say you're a digital marketing firm, or are you more of a, is Our Creative more of a complete agency?
We specialize in visualization.
Okay.
We help the companies explain complex technologies and procedures. Today, we need to be able to explain even the most complex technology in less than 15 seconds. And people have to understand it, and it's becoming even more and more important. So VidiPlus is basically a tool that helps us evolve in this new virtual world.
Right. And so did you, were you already using a VidiPlus type of technology that you developed internally at Our Creative, or was it more sophisticated and you had to do some additional programming work to make it work, in as you just demonstrated?
VidiPlus is a completely different company
Okay.
from our creative. It's not the same team as well. The idea is that, from the conversations that I had when the pandemic started and afterwards as well, I understood that we're going into a new world, a virtual world, where we will have more and more virtual encounters with prospects and leads. And from what I understand now, and this is something that I hear a lot, companies are telling me that they don't have problems with their existing clients, but they have problems in creating new clients. And why is it happening? Because we were used to go to exhibitions and trade shows and these mingling opportunities and created trust between people. And this is something that we do not have now. So how can we create that trust with the new people without meeting them face to face? And this is what I'm trying to bring into the world with VidiPlus, a way to help people to bring themselves into the virtual world and giving them all the tools and features they need to help them explain things and to help them shine in this new world.
And for people that have listened to my previous podcasts over time, I frequently go into research that comes out of different organizations about how healthcare professionals think, and especially healthcare executives. And you are correct. I mean, even before the Delta wave hit, and it's been terrible in terms of for industry, we have all these states in the United States now that are telling their hospitals to reduce elective surgeries. So, the whole system is under pressure. But even before that, healthcare executives were saying that they expected the virtual conversation to continue even after COVID because they liked it. They thought it was efficient. And it was something like almost 75% said it would be the preferred means of communication, even after COVID. So you're right. It'll be a big issue. And then the other point that you're making, which I want to reemphasize to everybody, because I hear the same thing too, is how do we prospect? How do we go open the door to people that we don't know? People that we do know, sure, they'll pick up the phone or they'll get on a virtual call because they're happy to see us and they know us and they have that trust that you're talking about. But people that we don't know, where we need to open the door to try to find a new customer or to communicate a value proposition, that's much more difficult in this day and age. So yeah, that's really, really good. And then you created this tool. Maybe you can take us on a more detailed walk through the technology, with a couple more examples and demonstrating how the control board works and so on.
Sure, pleasure. So another big issue that we see and that existed also prior to COVID, is the problem to have product demos of huge products. So now we can bring the products into the conversation. So this is another very important thing, to be able to explain our products virtually and avoid the need to transfer them worldwide and so on. And today, again, it's not that we have any other options. And another thing that we help solve is support. A lot of companies now have decided to move to virtual support. This way, they can give a much faster solution to their clients, and it's also personal. We also have a feature that when we pointed at the visuals, they become transparent, so we can show specific aspects in the product itself. Another thing that is important is that in this new virtual world, we can find ourselves in many different platforms every day. So we can start the day in Zoom, then move to Teams, maybe LinkedIn Live, a virtual conference, at the end of the day, maybe even a WhatsApp or a messenger call, and we can connect to all these places. So we can have our pitch ready and just start it whenever we need in all these virtual places. It's also great for education when we want to help and educate our viewers, clients. It also can be a great tool. A lot of our clients are using VidiPlus to create webinars, which are very, very effective. Again, because we have the presenter in the center of the presentation and not hiding or disappearing.
Right.
In fact, yes.
No, that I agree with you 100%. It's because it continues to enhance that personal relationship because you're still present, but then the product's right there. You know, we hadn't talked in our preparatory calls, we hadn't talked about the whole concept of support and service and so on. I think that's tremendous. I can think of several people that would be able to take advantage of that very quickly, especially if you're a foreign producer and you need to service products in the United States or vice versa, where you can't travel right now. That can make a huge difference, you know, explaining some of these things. And training, you know, also the training of people, you know, on technologies that, you know, that they're going to use in a hospital, whether it's on the floor or it's in the ICU or if it's in the operating room. That's interesting. And how does the little control panel work? You showed that to me before. Is it okay to show that?
Sure. Let me show you how it works. So I share my screen just to show you the software itself. So as you can see, VidiPlus is quite small.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is it's also designed for people that are not the most tech savvy out there. So this is VidiPlus. As you can see, the software is very small, more similar to a widget. It's designed for people that are not the most tech savvy, and it's very easy to operate. You just need to choose the item that you would like to show and just play it. For example, how we see it here. I can move the items very easily. I can scale them as I wish, and just point at them and they will become transparent. The software recognizes my hand, and when I take it out, it will become opaque again.
Okay. And then when like this, the last image of the instrument, sort of the blow up picture, and that was a video. So I guess you could be playing the video and you could stop it at that where it's sort of blown apart and then reach in and point with your finger, correct?
Yes. When I'm playing videos, I can also I can pause them. We have a lot of useful keyboard shortcuts. So with the space button, I can pause the video, operate the transparency, play again. So it's very easy. I don't need to think too much. I just I can flow with the conversation without thinking too much about how to operate the system. Also, creating a new project is very easy.
Okay.
So when I'm creating a new project, the user interface is empty. I just need to choose items that I would like to present. I need to do it only once. I don't need to do it several times. Preparing the presentation, to do it only once. Just choose the items that you would like to show and drag them. We can show images of any kind, videos of any kind, PowerPoint presentations, 3D models, and so on. After choosing the item, it will be positioned automatically, and then I can easily move it, scale it. I can also flip it, and by using this feature, I can easily operate the transparency mode.
Wow. So somebody just needs to learn how to do it. They just, like anything that's new, they need to practice.
True. And we also help our users. We help them, we train them. We have a dedicated team for training. So each person that is onboarding into VidiPlus will have our help. We're also very interested to learn about your needs and to help you onboard and to maximize the use of VidiPlus. I would also like to show you a very interesting collaboration that we did with an American company called BioDigital. So BioDigital, they have the biggest 3D anatomical repository worldwide, and we have integrated them into VidiPlus. As you can see, I now have a 3D model in the software, and I can easily delete parts of the model and interact with it. So I have here a beating heart, and I can point at it, and it can be great for medical education, telehealth, and many other uses as well.
That's really interesting. The whole concept of using it for telehealth. That's now for a client to be able to utilize not only VidiPlus, but then also have access to that repository of anatomical features and so on. Does that change the licensing? Are you allowed to provide that anatomical information, or how does that work?
The access is, you can access it if you're a BioDigit client as well.
Okay.
And the access is quite easy. We also have many other integrations with other 3D software, but it's less relevant for the medical world right now.
Okay. So then how have you set up the pricing for this? So you just indicated that there might be a biodigital type of license.
Mm-hmm.
And then is there another type of license? How many options are there?
So the license for VidiPlus is for single users, it's $10 per month. And for enterprise companies, it's $25 per month for an annual license. Enterprise companies naturally will have much more features that they can use, and also distributed the different projects between their team members. So any one of the viewers that is interested to try VidiPlus, you go directly into our website, or if you like, you can direct message me, and I'll be happy to help you on board and have someone from our team to guide you and help you succeed with VidiPlus.
Okay, that's really awesome. And I thought one of the things that you say on your website is that, and I love this quote. It's digital caffeine for Zoom fatigue.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the costs. We talked about the training that you provide and the training assistance. And tell us about any feedback you've had from some first customers that have been starting to actively use this in MedTech.
The comments are great. They're seeing a lot of value in all the communication that are facing their clients. So it's a great tool from what we see for the salespeople, marketing, support, education. All the people that are client facing are enjoying the tool, and they feel that their meetings are much more engaging. And also we see that people are also recording short videos, creating great marketing videos for email marketing, for social media, video tutorials, and so on. So what we see is that we have here a powerful production studio in our computer that we can use, which is also essential these days.
And it looks like it's going to work with almost anything. So, have you heard of these video platforms that a lot of people use for embedded video and email? So, there's Vidyard, Loom, Soapbox by Wistia, and so on. Can somebody use this in conjunction with those?
With some of them, you can.
Okay.
Some of them you can. It depends which one. But again, for video meetings, it works with all the platforms,
Right.
all video casts, all webinars, tools out there, Messenger, WhatsApp, as I said, the many other platforms. I also wanted to say something about how we fight the Zoom fatigue, another way that we help fight the Zoom fatigue. So
Okay.
one of the things is that we are positioned in the same place during the conversation for a long time. So one of the features that we've created allows us to change that. So I can decide before the meeting starts, I can decide that in one frame I will be positioned here, and then I can be positioned this way, and then again move to another side. So without thinking about it too much, we're creating a video feel.
Yeah.
So this is everything that we do before we start the presentation, and it makes a lot of difference. And again, you can also record it and have a great video.
Okay, and so for people that are just listening to this, what George just did was, as he was talking to me, he suddenly changed his location in the screen to a small square up in one corner, and then a medium square down in another corner, and the images could move around, which would definitely keep somebody's attention and also keep them engaged. So another solution for some Zoom fatigue. I like that a lot. And that is all control. You say you need to set that up in advance of the presentation, or is that part of what's controlled on that little control panel that you showed us?
We prepare the presentation before we start it. Everything is automatically saved, so we need to do it only once.
Okay.
And we can also decide where we'll be positioned during the presentation. So, and again, during the presentation, we need to be focused on the conversation or the presentation itself. We don't need to think too much about how to operate the system or how to position ourselves. So this is done prior the presentation itself, and then we just move from one message to the other, and it works like magic.
Okay. No, that's great. Anything else we should know about VidiPlus or any plans that you have for the future?
Well, the future is very much different from what we were used to.
Yeah.
I myself, by the way, I flew twice or three times per month before COVID started. This was the only way that we could have created new business in the world, and also keep in touch with our clients and prospects. So we all flew. About 50% of our time we were just traveling around the world. And this is something that is definitely going to change. VidiPlus and is coming to help us to bring ourselves into this virtual world and help us to create these personal relationships and to be as close as possible to face-to-face meetings. This is my goal.
Well, I think you're well on the path to getting there. It's very interesting technology. I congratulate you and your colleagues for pulling it together and to, helping us with another really good tool in MedTech to explain our value propositions to people and to help us continue to move forward and to help us with these difficult things that you and I talked about before, which is prospecting, talking to new people.
Sure. Yes.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast and videocast with me today. And from time to time, I will tell a guest that I have the right to come back and interview you in another year to see where you're going, see what's happened, because I think it'd be real exciting to find out what VidiPlus has become in another year. So I hope you and I get a chance to talk again.
Sure, it will be my pleasure. Even sooner, if you like.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks again, Dror, for being here.
Thank you very much, Ted. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but that's almost Star Trek-like. Very, very science fiction-like type of virtual enhancement for our prospecting, presentations, service calls, education, webinars, whatever it might be. That is a really unique technology that Dror and his team came up with to create VidiPlus. I have to congratulate them. And it seems very reasonably priced. So I might look into that myself for some of the things that I do. Even as an individual, it does not cost very much. And it would be very easy to manage this from a compliance standpoint in the quality system at the company when you're putting marketing materials in, because in that control panel, you could create the approved marketing pieces that a salesperson would be allowed to use in the sales process. And that's all they would have access to. So you have some great control there. And the cooperation they have with the biodigital company adds some extra tools. So pretty neat. I think that it's a great tool for the virtual future that we're going to still have to contend with this virus, and just the attitude that healthcare professionals, whether they're doctors or hospital executives, have about continuing to embrace the virtual environment as a way to meet with vendors. So take a look at it. The website is in the show notes. Okay, that's it for today. Now go win your week.